Thousands and thousands of years ago, this was a lively volcano erupting everywhere all the time. But it finally became an extinct volcano, and to this very day, it remains one of the most sacred places in all of Guatemala. Welcome to Lake Chicabal. I'm never gonna get used to waking up at 6 a.m. here in Guatemala, especially when the temperature is 10 degrees Celsius. But we've got a long day ahead, we've got an adventurous day ahead, so let's go ahead and catch a bus. Wow, walking around Sheila at 6 a.m. in the morning is actually really beautiful because there's literally nobody awake. But it's so cold. I'm literally putting a mask on, not because of COVID. There's nobody around me at all in the city, but because it gives me sort of warm air to breathe as I'm walking around the city at 6 in the morning. Para el Laguna Chicabal. Gracias. Well, just like that, we've been dropped off at the main road in the town known as San Martin. It was about an hour-long colectivo ride from the center of Sheila, but we are really in the Guatemalan jungle now. This is real raw Guatemala, and it's still very cold. At least the sun is out, but still I am out here shivering. But we've got about a 2-hour hike until we get to our destination officially for today. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with the walk. But once we get to the top, I'll explain everything to you and why this destination might be one of the best here in Guatemala. The location we're visiting today is called La Laguna de Chicabal, and it is one of the most holy places of the Mayan culture, which is why at the entrance here of the hike, there is a sign that says that before you hike up to the lagoon, you need to ask permission from the creator of the earth, which is the Mayan god. It's a very religious place. It's a very holy and sacred place. I'm not sure how we ask permission from the creator of the earth, but creator of the earth, I hope you give me permission to hike up to Laguna Chicabal. Super interesting, and so much culture and religion here. We're gonna continue and hike up to the top. We officially made it inside the sort of park entry into Volcanic Chicabal, but it turns out there is an entrance fee, and it's a very expensive entrance fee. It's 50 quetzales. 50 quetzales is almost like $8, which I know isn't expensive for America, but compared to Mexico, this is really expensive. I mean, I thought Guatemala was gonna be cheap. 50 quetzales is like you could visit Teotihuacan 2 times in Mexico for the price of just this one park, basically. It's gonna be a long hike up. We've got to go through there, and we're gonna hike up all the way to the very top. It's gonna be difficult. It's supposed to be about 45 minutes to an hour, but from what I understand, it should be a really nice hike. After about 45 minutes hiking from the entrance to the park, we finally made it. This is the viewpoint here. but welcome to Lake Chicabal. This has got to be one of the most beautiful viewpoints ever. Not only can you see the lake, but you can even see the volcanoes and the mountains in the distance way behind it. And we're pretty high up. We're almost at like 2,800 meters above sea level. You can see that we're above the clouds. There's like an ocean of clouds beneath the volcano. It's absolutely incredible, and there are people singing the traditional Mayan folk songs. We'll talk more about that when we get to the surface of the lake and see them doing their rituals. But I mean, just this shed here, this beautiful viewpoint, and the best part is that there's nobody here. It is absolutely wonderful. I think what we're gonna do now is we're gonna head down to the lake. So this is the mirador, this is the viewpoint, but you can go down to the lake. So we're gonna go ahead, get back on the stairs, and head down. The guy at the viewpoint just told me that it's about 570 steps down to the lake. Oh, I think we're gonna make it. I'm pretty sure we've done maybe like 20, but we're on our way down. Well, after a good 10 minutes hiking down those 500 something stairs, we have finally made it to the actual lake itself. And I have to say, this lake is crystal clear. If I was allowed to, and if the weather was warmer and I had brought swimming gear, I would totally go in for a dip. But this place isn't exactly the best place to go for a swim. Swimming is absolutely prohibited in Lake Chicabal, and the reason is pretty simple. This is a very sacred lake. They do Mayan rituals here and have offerings that they put on the lake, and this has been done for what, hundreds, thousands of years since the Mayan civilization. You can see right behind me those sort of like little clumps of flowers near the lake. That's where the Mayans put their offerings, and that's where today people still come here and put their offerings to the gods here. Like I said, this is a very, very religious and sacred place to the Mayan people, which is why when we had to enter, we had to seek permission from the creator of the earth. This entire place is holy, it's tranquil, and it's also why it's prohibited to swim. Now, the reason why we have to come so early to this lake is, well, there's a couple of reasons. First off, usually after like 3-4 p.m., as you probably know, Guatemala gets into a full rainy thunderstorm. Nobody can stop it, and it's the worst. But second, because roughly at around 11 a.m., 12 p.m., and 1 p.m., those hours, this mist and cloud starts to fall into the lake, and it creates the most beautiful scenery ever. So we're gonna wait here and wait for those clouds to roll into this top of the volcano, which is gonna be absolutely magnificent, but I cannot wait for that. In the meantime, there are a lot of local Guatemalans here. They're also doing their offerings. You can see all those flowers over there are all the offerings of the ancient Mayan rituals that have been around for hundreds and hundreds of years, which is so interesting to see. I'd mentioned earlier that the clouds and the mist start rolling onto the lake at around 11 or 12. It's currently like 10:30, it's almost 11, and sure enough, right on time, the clouds are rolling in. This is absolutely beautiful. Alright guys, I completely underestimated how fast that fog would roll in. It started rolling in at like 10:30. I got my drone up in the air, and 10 minutes later, it looks like this. I cannot see 3 feet past the lake. And literally, that drone, as it was flying through the fog, I lost it a couple times because I had no clue. And there's no GPS here because we're in the middle of the mountains of Guatemala. I don't have signal. There's no way for me to know where the drone is. And with the fog, I can't see the drone either. So it was a very, very dangerous situation. But it's just completely covered. Earlier, I could actually see the offerings on the other side. Now they've disappeared. The fog has just completely covered the place. But it's a completely different environment. It happened in like 10 minutes. It happened so quickly. So if you come here, you've got to come here early. You've got to come here at 8 or 9 a.m. because then you can actually see the lake. And then once you've seen the lake, then the fog rolls and it just covers everything up and then you can't see anything anymore. But it's just incredible how fast that fog rolls. I just completely had no idea that it would be this quick and it would be this thick of a fog. I thought at least I could maybe see the drone a little bit more, but it just has completely blanketed this volcano and it's absolutely beautiful. I thought earlier that the fog was bad and was really strong, but now it's gotten even worse. I literally can barely see anything in front of me. Everything's just fogged up. It is insane. And because the fog has come in, the wind has gotten stronger and it's gotten colder, which is never a good combination when you're at the top of a dead volcano. But it's just incredible how quiet and how beautiful this place is. As one of the local Guatemalans were telling me, this is the magic of Lake Chicabal. This is why it's so holy, and this is why the Mayans for centuries decided that this was such a holy place. It's magnificent. It is absolutely incredible. And although I'm here shivering and trembling, I could not ask for a better place to be shivering and trembling. Something interesting I've observed while walking along the lake is that every maybe 100 meters you'll get a sign, and this sign refers to a Mayan god where the offerings are made. So every time you see offerings, there's probably a sign there for a god. So earlier there was the god of fire. That's when you enter right through the viewpoint. The first god that you'll see is the god of fire, and this god right here is the god of water. So this is the Mayan god of water. This is where people will bring their offerings for the Mayan god of water. There'll be more gods around the lake as you continue walking, but it's just amazing. Like I mentioned, this is a very, very holy and sacred place for the Mayan religion and the people and the civilization, and this is the best evidence of that. As you're walking along the lake, you'll find these sort of little open areas that are right along the lake here. And once again, these are places where they give offerings. But these offerings are a little bit different. I think they're Christian offerings. They have crosses on it. I'm not sure how this all works. I really don't understand the religion here in Guatemala. But it's completely tranquil. It's really serene. And it's interesting to see all these different mixing of religions. You know, you've got the local Mayan religion. You've got the Christian religion. All of that together is really, really interesting. Well, we've officially walked around the entire lake. My hands are literally frozen. It is so cold, and as I've been walking, the wind has gotten stronger and the fog has gotten thicker. So what we're going to do is we are going to head up to the viewpoint, and from the viewpoint we are going to head back down off the volcano. Well, after a very, very difficult hike up 500 something stairs, and those stairs are pretty steep, we've made it back up to the viewpoint. But now, this is what you see in the viewpoint. You can't see anything at all. It's just completely covered by the fog and the clouds. Earlier you could see the volcano, you could see the lake, but now there's absolutely nothing. Alright, now that we made it to the top, it all goes downhill from here. Well guys, about 2 hours later from hiking down from the volcano. We are back in the town of Quetzaltenango, and as you can probably see, it is raining. It has always been raining here, but it's raining pretty strong. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go back to the hostel and just sleep because we woke up pretty early. But let's talk about Lake Chicabal first. It's a beautiful lake, there's no doubt about it. It's a pretty, it's just a nice place to be. It's super chill, super relaxing, and it's super safe. Like, I didn't feel threatened at any point. You're in the countryside, you're in the Guatemalan countryside, and it's beautiful. For me, the lake itself is nice, but it's the culture around it, the Mayan culture, the offerings, and then obviously when that mist blows in, it's just absolutely incredible. The whole place just completely changes. It's a beautiful place, but if you're gonna go there, you have to get there early, or you can camp. Camping is also an option that's available, and the people who got me a ride back into Shela, they had camped there overnight. So that's definitely another viable option if you're considering going to Lake Chicabal. Personally, I didn't have the clothes for that. I don't have the cold weather clothes because it gets pretty cold up there even during the day. So I can only imagine how cold it gets at night. But because I'm not prepared, I didn't camp overnight, but it would have been amazing to camp there overnight. I'm absolutely sure of that. But with that, that's gonna be it for this video. Beautiful Quetzaltenango, beautiful Lake Chicabal. It really is just, if you're looking to understand the culture and the religion of Guatemala, that's a beautiful place to go. So anyways, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye guys.